Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Hello, this is Becky Brown, and Chris Williams will be joining me today, as well as JJ West. We're so glad that you joined us today, and we're taking your calls, 1-800-229-3000. And you know, it is the season of gift giving, and I wonder what you guys are getting for yourself. Like, what's your Christmas list? I mean, you know.
Gonna get a half an hour of alone time? Is that too much to ask?
Put that on your schedule.
I like that. I want that on my list. Yeah.
Well, you know, when you think about all the people that we minister to, counsel, and, you know, you just like you just said, though, Chris, is a time for themselves. You know, some of the best gifts that you can give to others is helping them with their mental health, with your own mental health.
Yeah.
And because it changes the future. You know, you think about the men that you serve at Every Man's Battle, JJ, that you are impacting their legacy. Their family will be different. And I know many times we hear from people who will say, New Life has changed my life because of what we've learned. You know, whether it is an anger problem or a porn problem, there is help for that. And, you know, so what would you say if somebody who needs some help, but they feel awkward in asking for help, or maybe they're in denial, maybe they don't even realize that their family has been saying, hey, you really got to, you know, check on yourself. What would the two of you say to somebody who's kind of stuck in not knowing how to take care of themselves? Chris, we'll start with you.
Taking care of yourself in different ways, the result is nobody dies.
That's good.
Like, I really mean that. Like, in this sort of, we create all of these internal blocks and barriers, all these reasons why. You know, and I'll use myself as an example. A family member confronted me on an issue about 1.5 years ago, and it was around the issue of the management of finances. And all of these defenses were in me. Where it's like, well, you're not managing yours that well, or how do you know? Or like, I didn't think they had the right information. But I was like, oh, for me to go get help in this area of my life, what would be the downfall of that? Whether the person was accurate or not, or whether what was ever going on in their lives, my defenses were keeping me away from the help that I needed. And so by taking a deeper dive into that and really getting the help, I'm not saying it solved all my problems, but it certainly moved the needle of my life to better.
I love that.
Getting help, no one dies.
That's it. We want everybody to live. That's
Yes.
good. JJ, how about you?
I love that. I love the idea of being able to hear in somebody else's criticism and somebody else's critique of me, even if I don't think they have a right to say anything, or I don't think they have all the right information, or I don't even think their criticism is accurate. What in it can I learn from? What in it can be used for good? There's a great old article called "The Cross and Criticism" by Alfred Poirier, and he does a good job of making that as one of the points, that no matter where it's coming from, no matter what it's saying, am I willing to listen to what's there? Let God use what's there to help heal me. And I would just add one thing, which is, you know, we recognize from Scripture as well as ourselves that the sins of the fathers are revisited on the third and fourth generation. But the blessing of the righteous, if I choose righteousness, healthiness, wholeness, that blessing goes to 1,000 generations.
So good.
So it's a great return on investment.
It sure is. That'll be the best gift that you give your family this year. If you need help, you know we are here for you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433. That's how you get help. Or you can go to newlife.com and you can see all of the different ways. You know, maybe you even need to download the free app, because then we'll be in your pocket all the time. We'll be right back after this.
We went to the Intimacy and Marriage in 2019. We were both done.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is February 16th to the 18th in Orange County, California. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation, phenomenal. It has transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. And just like you heard on that spot, you know, people are so generous because they want other people to have a new life. And when you give to New Life, you are helping people be that gift that we were all just talking about in the opening segment. And we have a match, a $200,000 matching gift. So that means that every dollar that you give for the next couple of weeks up till December 31st, that Times Square ball dropping, it will be doubled until we meet that 200,000. We had a group of donors that they wanted to make this the last part of the year. We want to encourage you to give to New Life because it makes a difference in the lives of so many people. And you can give by texting the word match to 28950. So you can give through that. You can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or you can go to newlife.com and give to that match. It makes a difference. You are going to change somebody's life, and it'll be a gift for their life. We're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Mark, who's calling us from Williamson, West Virginia, listens on Sirius XM. We're glad you called. Mark, how can we help you today?
Well, initially I was going to ask about, I'm like 62 years old. I've been married like 3 times.
Okay.
And I was like, I just give up with as far as that goes because the first marriage, and it was kind of young, and the second one was kind of maybe my fault. I didn't stay home like I should, but I wasn't like I was out doing anything wrong, but I didn't stay like I should. And the third marriage, that was the person got on substance abuse, and they wasn't willing to take in counseling, so I ended up getting that divorce, and I tried to get Christian counseling for her and stuff like that. But now I've been married 3 times, so I'm like, should I just give up? Because I've really made some bad choices and some bad things. And then I recently lost my dad a month ago, so I've been broken over that.
That's hard.
Well, I don't know really where I know, should I even think about dating again, or just give it up? Maybe God don't want me to make another bad decision, but I do miss a female companionship,
Mm-hmm. Chris?
Mark, I'm heartbroken, man. I want to be in Williamson, West Virginia right now and getting a coffee on your front porch and making sure that you're not alone. Maybe that's the rescuer in me, but I hear your heartbreak, and it is heartbreaking. It does really seem like you have a lot of good insight into your situation. But I think what you're experiencing right now is in the midst of the broken hearts, because you have what we call a cumulative loss. And I think that it's that, man, I don't have any more room in my heart for another big loss, and you just went through another big loss. And it's very natural in us because loss comes with grief, and grief needs comfort. So, especially in us, well, in all of us humans, but I can speak to the male heart. The male heart says, in my loneliness, I need female companionship. But the truth of the matter is, in my loneliness, I need companionship, period. And I would recommend right now that you do get into some good grief counseling for yourself, but also keep building male friendships in your life. Guys that can come alongside of you and get a cup of coffee. Make sure you're not alone. Listen to you, hear you out. Also, make sure that whatever you do for fun and enjoyment in your area, that you're able to do that with companions, with buddies, with friends. But it's really important that you get into some good grief counseling to help you work through these losses, because here's my warning. I really don't want you to go into another dating situation with a broken heart only to get broken again. I'd love for you to go into a new situation with a little bit more of a whole heart, a healed heart.
Yeah, I have called a few weeks ago, and they sent me the 100 Days of Prayer because I've been listening to y'all. And I really hear some really great biblical counseling. Just got a special way of understanding people and giving them the right answers. Seems like not what people want to hear, but the good answers, from God.
Yeah, thank you.
JJ, how about you?
Yeah, so Mark, great advice that Chris just gave you. Would agree wholeheartedly. Plug into relationships with some good, safe men for two reasons. One is just to have that companionship, but two is guys who will love you enough to help point out the broken patterns in your own way of doing relationship that would likely show up in a future relationship, a future romantic relationship. So you don't have to repeat the same mistakes that you've made in the past. That they can help come alongside you and say, hey, do you notice that you do this? That may be something to work on. So that's one thing. But then the second thing, and Chris kind of hinted at this as well, you're currently in a deeply grieving process. There's a lot of pain right now. There's a lot of brokenness right now. And every expert will tell you when you're grieving, that is not a time to make long-term decisions, big life decisions. So right now, I would put the whole decision about whether I'm ever going to date again on hold. Just focus on grieving. Focus on letting God bring some healing to your broken heart. Then spend some time focused on what are some changes that I might need to make in myself and the way I do relationship. And then bring the question back in, okay, God, now that I've worked through that, is this something that you want me to continue to pursue? Or is this something that I should let go of? But I wouldn't try to make that decision right now, because having gone through the loss of a parent, having gone through the loss of your father last month, this is not the time to try and answer that question.
Yeah, we're gonna send you a copy of the Life Recovery Workbook on Grief, and I think, Mark, if you can get to a grief share group, if you can find them all over the country in churches and community centers, it's a great way for you to begin that healing process. And just like JJ just said, you just put a pin in it. You're not right now. I am not going to date anybody. I'm going to get some good healing. And you mentioned in one of your relationships, I think it was the second marriage, you talked about how you were gone. You weren't doing anything, but you were just gone. That tells me that there's a relational deficit, like you don't know how to do relationships real well. And so that would be a great thing to work on after you resolve some of this grief. But we're so sorry for this loss, and we'll be praying for you, Mark, and we'll continue to walk alongside of you. We'll get you a counselor as well, and I know the audience will be praying for you too. We're going to go to our next caller, and we're going to talk with Jesse, who's calling us from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and someone recommended that you call us. Jesse, we're glad you did. How are you doing today, and how can we help you?
Well, I'm doing fine outside of struggling with my son's ideas about his life, where he's headed. He's thinking, and he's non-binary, and he wants therapy through, looking for confirmation about how he feels. And we've been dealing with that for, I guess, some months right now. And I don't know which way to go with that and how to take it.
Okay. Jesse, how old is he?
He's going to be 19 in February.
And does he live with you guys still?
Yes, he lives with us.
Okay. And in school, graduate, tell me a little bit about that.
No, he graduated in August, and he's the first trouble we had with him was when he was 16 months. He had his shots and he had a regression, so things came back from that. And he struggled through a lot of things from that point, but right now he's graduated and he's working off and on. But we haven't set the right tone for him and growing him up the right way because we weren't in the church, or God wasn't in me at the time, and that's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay, all right. Well, JJ, let's start with you.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm sorry. Can you just repeat or explain? It sounded like you said at 16 months he got shots and then he was aggressive. I didn't quite catch what you were saying there.
Well, what I meant by that, he was affected by the shot at that 16 months. Vaccination.
Immunization.
Yeah, he's a perfectly normal little child, and then talking with us and doing great, and things changed in his life from that point. We had a lot of struggles with him then, night terrors, and he lost his speech for 3 years, and we had to bring him. So he's behind, I think, from that regression.
Maturity. And I hear your wife with you too, Jesse, which is great. We are glad you both called, and it is hard when you've gone through that. Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah. So you said that you're struggling with his questioning whether he's non-binary, correct?
He's telling me that. And
he's telling you that he's non-binary, and your struggle is that what?
What that meant, and I said, "You're a boy. You're my son." And he thinks, "Well, I'm not your son. I'm a person." I said, "Okay, let's elaborate on that a little further." And sometimes we had gotten in a heated argument about what his idea is about himself. But he says he hates the way he is in his body, and he's told me that. And thinking about that on those terms, and I just don't know how to understand that and how to deal with it.
Right.
It's
so
difficult.
Right. So regardless of whether you understand it at the level that he does, because you can't experience what he's feeling. He can try and describe it to you, but you can't climb inside him and understand what it is that he's feeling. Regardless of that, what I'm hearing from you is he's still your son who you love, who you desperately want to have a healthy relationship with, correct?
Yeah, in terms, yes. It's getting better, the relationship, since we talk about this idea that he has.
It's getting better how?
We talk more, and I listen better, and I talk to him about how he's feeling, and he opens up to that in parts. But he's talking about seeing this therapist, and he wants to know about the things that he's been feeling about trauma. And I don't know if that's a smokescreen from what he told us prior about being non-binary and other things that relate to hormones and.
Well, Jesse, can I jump in real quickly? Because I'm actually hearing some really promising things.
Yeah.
Your son is talking to you about how he's feeling at 19 years old. I'm telling you, I have two sons, 12 and 9, and I don't have any idea what kind of struggles they're going to have in the future. But I just had this conversation with my 12-year-old. I said, whatever it is, I just hope you feel secure enough and safe enough to come talk to me about whatever it is. And you have that. And so I want that to be kind of the baseline that we're talking through this. This is going to be a journey. There's going to be some very scary things about it for both him and for me. But me and my son can do hard things and have hard conversations. And one of the things that I would propose to him is, hey, son, whatever you're my child for sure. I want to get to know what your struggle is more and more. I may not fully understand it. And then I would ask him, are you open to hear my perspective? Ultimately, yeah, and ultimately what we want to be able to do is to support your healing and your health. But let's keep the lines of communication open.
Yeah, it's complex, Jesse. And if you all can get on the same page of hearing each other, it can be a step forward in the right direction. Hold on, we'll come back after the break and we'll finish this conversation. But New Life, this is a whole new kind of world that we live in, but Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and that's where we can meet together.
I came kicking and screaming. The last 24 years have been filled with pain. I was violently molested and raped from the age of 6 to 13. It has changed everything in my life. This weekend for me has been life-altering. I have realized that God does love me, that this is my story, and that's okay for the first time in a long time.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. She came kicking and screaming and now has a changed life. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministry.
To make your tax-deductible gift, visit newlife.com and click Donate. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. That's NLM to 28950. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are so glad that you tuned in today. We're talking with Jesse and his wife about some really difficult days with their 19-year-old son. And Jesse, I was talking to Chris and JJ at the break about just parent guilt is a thing. It is tough. It is, right? Because you said, I didn't raise him the way I should have. And, now I'm going to have to deal with all this. But here's what I want you to know is I just saw this the other day that the most important thing we can do as parents is when we see our kids, whatever age, that they know that we see them and that we love them. And
That's right.
Those two things will change their lives. Now, the situation you're dealing with right now, and I was telling Chris, the stress that I hear in your voice, Jesse, as you even approach this conversation, you're scared. You're thinking way far into the future about, all of the implications if your son makes this decision and what are the, what's the impact of that. And, in fear can drive our decisions and drives our relationships and drives wedges in our relationships because we get afraid. But JJ, I would love for you to minister to Jesse and his wife in this level of fear that they're having in this unknown space.
Yeah. So the comforting words that I would offer you, Jesse and
Mrs.
and Mom,
Jesse
and Mrs. Jesse, right, is what I have seen over and over and over in my practice is that the the adult children, right, who come into my office, if their parents were the type of parent who said, I'm the parent, you're the child, it's my way or the highway, I didn't, I did the best I could, so you just deal with it. Those kids, when they become adults, have far more challenges, far more problems, are stuck more frequently than the ones who, even if they encountered more pain, more trauma, more suffering, if the parent was willing to say, I made mistakes with you and I own them. And I want to, and just building on what Becky was just saying, I want you to know that I see you. I want you to know that I hear you. I want to listen to your heart and not just sweep it away or make excuses or get defensive, but instead to say, please help me understand some of the pain that you went through. And I can own, yeah, I wish I had done that differently. I wish I had responded differently. I wish I had offered something different to you. I'm so sorry for the pain that's caused. Those people, when they're working through stuff as adults, they do far, far better. So if yes, you're going to make mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes. I've got a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old. I've made tons of mistakes. But what I try to do day after day is go to them with a humble heart that says, I want to hear you and not just be the parent who's in charge and knows everything, but instead to be willing to admit my mistakes, to be willing to admit my failures, and to see you as a person that impacted, right?
I love that.
So, yes, we have done that in the past and admitted to our mistakes, and he's still growing. Like I said,
absolutely,
he's behind, I think, because of the aggression, and we love him, and
absolutely.
we try to do to fears that we have, like you just mentioned.
Can I ask you a question, Jesse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you.
That's all right.
So the question, you mentioned that your son said something along the lines of that he went through trauma. Is he referring to the impact of the vaccination at 16 months, or are there other traumas that he's referring to?
No, there's other traumas that he had experienced when he was 15.
Okay.
In a relationship with someone.
And he shared those with you?
Yes, he did at the time. And then it was a struggle for him. We realized that. And it was really unfortunate that what happened with him. It was with a relationship with some other person.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what we can honor is the fact that he felt safe enough to share that with you and your wife. I just love that. I love the fact that he feels safe enough with you that he can share the pain that he's going through. He can share the confusion that he's experiencing. He can share the questions that he's wrestling with. That's huge for all three of you.
As far as next steps, Jesse, it would be good for you and your wife to talk with somebody about this so that you can keep that fear not under control, but you can release it, that you can explore some of the things. And, I don't want you guys to be a one-topic parent with him. You're literally done parenting. He's 19, and even though he's in the house, and I know that there's some other, kind of qualifications, when you think about his background, I want you to be able to begin to launch him strong. And that comes through being curious, being supportive, but also knowing that he's going to make choices that are not always going to ring true to your values, which that's just part of that parenting grief that we, go through. But he knows where you stand, and so we want to just keep that open line of communication. We'll connect you with somebody in your area, and I'm going to send you a copy of Dr. Jim Burns' book, Doing Life with Your Adult Children, and I think that'll help you. Chris, any last words before we go to break?
Be the safest place for him to open up. And exactly what the encouragement was today, I have to feel safe in me to be safe for other people.
Wow, we all got work to do.
Amen.
I mean, we really do. And we've got stuff. If you need to become safer for somebody else, whether you're the one, like we opened with, be the gift that you give yourself, we can help you. Get connected with a counselor. We got resources. We want to help you have that new life. We'll be right back.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We support New Life because they have been a lifeline that helps us through the storms of life. And sometimes it's not even the storms of life, it's just the average things that go on in everyday life. And we find support from them through the radio and through the resources, through the workshops, and providing us the tools that we need to grow in our heart and our character. And I would just encourage other listeners to take time to consider what New Life has done in their own personal life. And if it's impacted you, I would encourage you to step forward and to give a gift. They will make it go farther than any other ministry that I'm aware of.
We are so grateful for testimonies like that, and we hear from you that your why for giving is because of those things that you just heard. And I want to invite you to be part of what God's doing at New Life. And you can text a gift to match, the word match, at 28950. You can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or you can give online at newlife.com. Your gift will be doubled because we have this matching gift going on, but it also will just continue the ministry that has changed the lives of so many people for over 35 years, and we want to continue that into the future. And we're so grateful for all of you who give on a regular basis. We're going to go back to the calls, and we are going to speak with Mildred, who's calling us from Marlboro, Maryland. She watches us on YouTube. How you doing, Mildred, and how can we help you today?
I'm doing great. I have a niece that's been living with me for 10 years, and about 7 years ago, she lost her job and started drinking. And she's like an alcoholic, and when she do get a job, it doesn't last long. They usually end up firing her. But her mind has been, to me, because of the alcohol, has been damaged, and she say things and do things that are ridiculous. Yesterday, she was in from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. She talked all day long to the point that I had to call the police. So I'm writing up a petition that I want to take to the court because she needs help.
Okay.
For the alcohol and mental.
All right. So, Mildred, one question before I turn it over to JJ and Chris. Are you her guardian? Like, is she awarded to you? Is that why she's living with you all these years?
No, her mother passed, and she was living with mother.
Okay.
And I had a bigger home to support her, and let her and her daughter live with me.
Okay. So lots of pain there. JJ, how would you start this help for Mildred?
Yeah. So if she is an adult, it sounds like you said she has a daughter of her own, correct?
Yeah, she's 41.
She's 41. Okay. So does she recognize that she has at least an abusive relationship with alcohol, if not full-blown alcoholism?
She denies it.
She denies it.
She did. Okay. She did go to treatment for 28 days. She put herself in 2 years ago.
She put herself in treatment for 28 days, but she doesn't consider herself to be an alcoholic.
No, but 5 days later, she started back drinking.
5 days after she got out.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did she hope to gain by putting herself in treatment? If she's not an alcoholic, what was that for?
She just said she needed help.
Okay. So she recognizes that there's problems in her life. She recognizes that she's not living the life that she wants to live. Whether she calls herself an alcoholic or not, whether she points to the alcohol as the source of that, she recognizes that her life is not what she wants it to be. Yes?
Right. And she had a couple of traumas. Well, she got hit by a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so
her mother been dead for 13 years, and she keep bringing that up, crying for her mother.
Yeah. So often that's what happens, right? When we're struggling with any form of addiction, we're using that addiction, whether it's a mood-altering substance or a mood-altering behavior, in this case a substance, as a way to escape whatever the pain is in my life, whatever the difficulty is, whatever the challenge in this. And she's had several, right? She has maybe the physical pain and maybe the emotional pain from the accident. She certainly has the emotional pain from losing her mom. What I think may be helpful is to try and get her to see the impact that she is having on her own daughter, and that her trying to get help to change her life could have that positive impact on her daughter, could set her daughter on a different path than she is on. So rather than trying to say, hey, you're an alcoholic, you keep losing jobs, you've got to get your life together, instead to focus on, do you want to leave a different legacy for your daughter? Do you want her to have a different life than what you've had? What changes are you willing to make in order to help her be on a different path than what you've been on, right? I would start there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good, JJ. And I would lean in a little bit more on some boundaries that you have for her and her drinking, Mildred, because addiction and home life typically don't go together. And that's me actually minimizing. They just don't go together. Mm-hmm. And so your home is disrupted, and you want it to be a place of peace and connection as much as humanly possible. And so when addressing her, what I would encourage you to go along with exactly what JJ was encouraging you with is address behavior that's harmful. And if you can do it and I already sense that you have a strong peacefulness about you, and don't address that from an escalated place or a highly emotional place, but just a calm but strong place. And your line needs to be, these are the things that don't work for me. You know, and I think it's one of the best places to start with boundaries in our life is right. Like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. And that doesn't work for me. And educate yourself on alcoholism and addiction. And she is in denial. And part of that denial is driven by how effective her drinking is. to JJ's term, and there's one of the things I love that they talk about in Every Man's Battle, is that addiction is an an attempt to meet a legitimate need through illegitimate means. And here's what the sensation of alcohol does for people in grief. It meets the need of comfort, but the person is never actually comforted. And that's how alcoholism can grow especially in the experience of grief. And so just kind of helping her that it's a both and, that here's some behaviors that don't work for me, and I'll come alongside of you within my limitations, meaning within my financial and emotional resources that I have, not that I don't have, and as well as our faith in Christ, to see what resources are out there so that you can get help for your hurting heart, and you can get into help for this drinking issue that has gone out of control.
Well, and Mildred, if you haven't already gotten involved with Al-Anon, or we can get you connected with the Life Recovery Group, your language to her will be so important, just like what Chris is talking about, what JJ's talking about. But we get caught up in what the addict's lifestyle is. We're managing, to have her talking all day to the point where you have to call the police. At what point, at what hour did you go, you know what, this has gone on long enough? And so when we get into group support, we learn that our boundaries can be the things that what Chris was just talking about. That's not going to work for me. So we'll get you connected in that way. We're going to give you, I'm going to send you a life recovery workbook for drug and alcohol. I think that's the name of it. I can never remember the name of it, but we'll get you connected in that way, and we'll get you connected to a life recovery group. Your niece has to do her own work, but it's going to require some really hard no's on your point, like no alcohol in the house. And, there's going to be some responsibilities because she's losing her life because of the sadness that has overtaken her. And, we use things to numb out and to not feel. And we need to help her learn how to manage the big feelings that want to take her out. She's got value. We want to see that shine for her daughter, for that next generation. We hope that helps, Mildred. And if you need help on, if you're struggling with alcoholism, we can get you connected to a treatment center. We've got them all over the country that have Christian programs that are that's integrated. It's not just, Bible study every once in a while. We want you to live free of addiction, and we can help you. We'll be right back after this break.
Most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433. 5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You know, we have so many people that listen on our podcast and listen through the app, and we're so grateful for all of you who are listening there right now, whatever time of day it is. And but I just want to remind you that you can call in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We are live from 1 to 3 Eastern. You can call 1-800-229-3000. You can also tell your friends. You might like low-key say, hey, you know, I got this phone number. You can call them. 1-800-229-3000. They can help you, and you may change their life. It might be the best thing ever. And I hope that if you haven't already, that you'll download the app. It's free. You can watch on YouTube and subscribe there. You know, and if you're listening on any podcast platform, if you rate and review, it just helps get the word out. And we're just so grateful for all of you who are listening. We're going to go to our final caller. It's Barry, who's calling us from Winslow, Indiana. Listens on Sirius XM. Hi, Barry. Thanks for waiting. I'm so glad you called. How can we help you today?
Well, I just wanted to tell you how great a weekend I had at the last Every Men's Battle workshop in Dallas. I want to give a shout out and thanks to the incredible men who have set aside so much of their lives, their time, and their efforts to helping other men engaged in the battle for sexual integrity. And it was just an amazing weekend. JJ, when he in his first open, he told us that we have a lot more in common, than we have differences. And I was imagining this whole group of men. If you take this group of men and set them in one section of a big stadium full of other men, and I would challenge anybody to point to that section that we were sitting in and point us out that we're any different. We're battling this issue, and each and every one of those men came there with the sole purpose of wanting to engage in this battle. And it went from everybody not knowing each other to we became brothers in a space of 3 days. The breakout groups were incredible. We just bonded over mealtime, and then in the breakout groups we were able to just open up, and from the main sessions we were able to learn these tools that we can apply and then go and discuss them and move forward, develop a battle plan. And before any of the first of my group even got on their first plane, we already had established a text group, and we've been texting back and forth ever since then, encouraging one another. It was incredible.
I love that.
Absolutely incredible.
I love that. JJ, what do you want to say to Barry about that?
Well, Barry, thank you for calling. I'm so glad that you went. I'm so glad I got the chance to meet you and talk with you and to walk alongside you for those 3 days like you talked about. What an incredible experience. And, you know, here's the thing, guys. For those of you who are out there listening, Barry's experience is not it's so common, right? This is what guys experience every month at Every Man's Battle. They experience being set free. They experience being released from their shame. They experience this brotherhood that you don't think that somebody that you didn't know at all on Friday morning could be someone that you text with regularly by Sunday afternoon. How is that possible? There's no way we could develop such deep relationships in a little over 48 hours. And yet that's exactly what happens month after month, because it's designed to get guys from isolation to connection. Isolation from God, isolation from others, even isolation from their own hearts, to connection and authenticity. It's beautiful.
It is absolutely remarkable. I can definitely affirm that in what happens. And to echo what Barry was saying, is all of the people, especially the men who've put in the work to make it what it is, And if I could say what it is, what is this thing, Every Man's Battle? Well, it's addressing a deep disease in us men that we don't know that we have. And that is a longing and deep need for connection and a terror of it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And what this does is it demystifies and it neutralizes the fear. And it just helps us in real time address exactly what we need so that our hearts can show up, we can strengthen, we can become who God created us to be. And lo and behold, it's a great trick on the evil one. And the great trick on the evil one is the evil one thinks it has us through our shame and our broken sexuality. But it becomes that in which it leads us to life and life more abundantly in the way that God has designed us for deep connection. It removes the terror of connection, and it shows us our need, and it shows us how much life and vitality, health, and quite honestly, legacy that we can have as a result of it. I can't say enough about it.
So, Barry, what will be different in your life because you experienced Every Man's Battle?
Well, I was terrified of opening up. I was terrified. I was losing the battle, and I was growing further and further apart from God. I was growing further and further apart from my wife. Our intimacy had suffered, and I was terrified. I was terrified to lay myself out. But I read the book. I encourage everybody to read the book, and I still had questions. And going through the weekend, a lot of the questions were answered. And any questions that I have to be answered, I have a group of people now through New Life Ministries, through these men who have devoted their life to Every Man's Battle. I have a place I can go to get the answers to questions that may remain. I just feel that weight lifted off. I feel that finally I can be transparent without fear. I know that I've caused pain, tremendous pain, to my wife and family, and I'm able, I think, in a position where I can open up and I can finally be honest and open about everything, and that's what I look forward to just moving forward and regaining my relationship with God, the closeness that I'd lost, regaining the closeness with my wife, regaining the closeness with my family, and maybe help build back trust and the respect. You know, we put masks on, and yet behind that mask, we're so different. When we have the person we want to portray, and everybody looks at us and, oh, wow, you know, the great guy, he's a great guy. And then behind that mask, you're so broken and so shamed, so full of guilt. And finally, you know, we're able to take that mask off. We have the courage now because, you know what? We've laid it out. Light's the best disinfectant, sunlight. Well, we have the true light, the light of Christ. Christ is the light of the world. And you can take that mask off, let that light shine. And you know what? The devil has nothing on us now.
That's right.
We come clean. We've come clean, and we can now walk in victory. And we have some warriors around us to help us in the battle. And we could we go from powerless victim, powerless casualty of the war to being able to become a powerful warrior in the battle. It was amazing.
I love
the
that.
Transformation.
I'm so glad that you called and shared that with us, Barry, and we're going to continue to pray for you and your family. We're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible that'll go along with the work that you're doing in your recovery. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, JJ, for all that you do. And thank you, callers, for calling. Remember, share with somebody about New Life because it may be a gift of new life to them. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.